Ouch. So they're here. I've got the comment here that I was talking about earlier. It says, "I'd like my kids to be part of the megaverse. One is dying to be a snow leopard after the bomb. 3-year-old wants to smash disgusting bug men with a big robot suit, and twins who might inherit my nerd genetics. So who knows? Will Palladium be around in 10 years for them to get that sense of freedom?"
I sure freaking hope so. Absolutely.
What
That's
kind
the
of question
plan.
is that?
First of all,
Are you gonna die?
I'm not
Tell me
going
now.
anywhere. And then I brought him in to help us do exactly that and to carry on when I'm gone. So, yeah, 10, 20, 30 years. That's the plan.
That's the whole plan. Yep.
There we go. I pretty much knew what that answer was going to be, but you know, when somebody puts it out there and puts it down, and I wanted to show, look at that there is the 3-year-old, and he's got a whole family of next generation Palladium players.
Yep.
I'm not going to ask those. I got a couple on here that are just kind of standbys in case. I thought this one was interesting. For you guys personally, are there any particular movies, TV shows, books, or just music that really gets you into, like, I cannot wait to roleplay. I can't even have time to roleplay anymore, but I mean, like just something that just jazzes you up, that once you do it, like, okay, I'm ready to run a game or play a game.
I mean, for me, you know, I've said this before, everything gives me ideas. So, I mean, sometimes I'll watch a nature show and I'm like, oh, I got a great idea for a monster I want to run and, you know, and put the guys against. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that really jumps out that, you know, is consistently inspiring for me. I mean, all kinds of comic books. In fact, right now there's a great comic book by IDW, coincidentally, called from what's it called?
That one you gave
Hunger
me.
in the Dusk.
Yes, that was cool.
And it's I just read the 3rd or 4th issue. It just came out, and or is it the Dusk and the Hunger?
Something like that.
And it's a fantasy setting, and every time I read that, I get inspired to work on Palladium Fantasy. Same thing, Titan. Titan. I don't know what Titan Books is. The Titan Book people. They're doing a new version of Conan the Barbarian, and I always have a sweet spot for Conan. He was my jam back in like 3rd and 4th grade, right? So they're doing a great job with it, and I'm reading it and I'm thinking, oh, this gives me an idea for some upcoming stuff. Oh, I should include this kind of moody shit. So you know, but everything kind of gives me ideas.
We talk about a lot of stuff. For me, I think one thing that really fuels me is when I got to see a really good ensemble. Because if you have like a lone hero, it doesn't work. It doesn't jazz me up for RP the same way. But I really like the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and I know people will dog on certain things, but there's also I don't know, especially after this past 8-9 months of negotiations, I understand why, you know, like creators sometimes don't get what they want, and then something weird happens, like, you know, Grogu's back immediately. But you know, just to drop one, but you know, and then what was it? Andor, you know, that was really good. That was less of an ensemble thing, but yeah, like Ahsoka, Mandalorian. I really like the Yamato 2199 has really cool like bridge crew. The pilots all have their thing and they go out, and the bridge crew has their thing. I really thought that was great. I think you could, if you want to do like, you know, Macross type thing, that's something to go watch besides the original Robotech type stuff. And then I think that what was I going to say? Oh, and Gundam, you know, a lot of times but more like the 008 MS team, or like War in the Pocket, I think it was called. I don't know if it was released in America under that name, but the old F-91 stuff. There's a lot of like, it could be, I think you could take a lot of those ideas and do really cool campaigns with them.
It's interesting. Sean mentioned ensemble casts. There's a trio of old movies that always gets me going. And it'll sound weird because they're not really role playing type movies other than Aliens. But James Cameron's Aliens, that always gets my juices flowing.
Yep.
Do you prefer the first one or the second one?
The second one.
Alien.
Well, I mean,
Really?
you
Okay.
can't kind of have the second without the first. I kind of put them together.
Okay,
Alien
fair
and
enough.
Aliens.
Yeah, I love them both, but there's something, I don't know what it is, something about the tension of the first one I just like a little more.
It was
Well,
weird.
absolutely. But if you're expanding that world, which is what we do, right?
Fair
as
enough,
world
yep.
builders.
It would naturally go
Aliens
to
is just
See,
masterfully done.
And I just saw Aliens. I'd never seen Alien, and I saw Aliens on cable when I was a kid, and it was just so mysterious without seeing Alien.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And then a couple other ensemble movies I just watch and love is the original like 1960s Magnificent
I was
Seven
gonna say the same thing.
and
Kurosawa's Seven Samurai.
the
as well?
Yep,
Samurai
fair.
too, yeah. And I love Akira Kurosawa. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, the guy's genius. And then The Great Escape, which is a World War II.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Dirty
You know,
Dozen.
Yeah, Dirty Dozen. That's a good one too. Yeah.
All the
Again,
kids
a lot
that are
of
like
ensemble-
25 and under are like, what are they talking about? And
Right.
True. I know. That's why I
So
said
they
the
did a new
movies,
Magnificent Seven.
which wasn't bad.
It wasn't
Yeah, they
bad.
did a remake in what, 2018, 2019, something like that. Was
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
something
earlier?
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris
something like
Pratt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing that I
Denzel
love is a lot of the
Washington.
Marvel stuff is good, like especially Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, it's a little more zany now. But
I'll tell you, the last two Avenger movies just
yes,
drive my poor sweetheart
yeah, the
crazy
Avenger
because
movies
every
are
time
good for it.
the Infinity Gauntlet and Endgame comes on, I'm like, oh, and she's like, you've seen these a million freaking times. We're not gonna watch this, right? And I'm like, no.
And of course, yeah, Star Wars, Star Trek, they've got a lot of ensemble. Again, any ensemble can really give you a lot of ideas.
I like the fact that you say that, and especially especially at first you were mentioning a lot of ensemble casts that are, we'll just say, larger. One of my complaints about modern gaming and the trends in modern gaming is that there's so many groups now that they play with. I only like to have 3 to 4 people in the group, and I'm like, I want 6, and even then that was considered on the small end. Like, I like 6 players and me, and let's go. I feel like any less than that, it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. But also, I can't control. I mean, Kevin, I think you said you had like 150 or something at one point.
It's only like 25 or something.
Yeah, I used
Oh,
to like
only 25. Yeah.
Yeah, I gamed
it-
regularly 26 guys, and then for me, my favorite number of players is between 8 and 12.
Okay, see here.
8 is my max.
Here's where you're not human anymore, because if you have more players in your table at one time than you have fingers on your hands, you're not human. You can hold too many things in there. You decided, hands, amateurs, hands
We
and toes.
talked about it. I haven't seen it in action yet. I've seen it with pretty big table, but not quite up to 20s.
Yeah, I think 14.
Yeah, I was there.
At the
Wow.
games, at the open house.
I got to
That'd be too much herding cats for my taste. But I like that because I like the concept of it being. First of all, I just like the bigger group. It just feels, being former military, it feels like, you got that more squad aspect, but also you're not so reliant on one character. You don't have to worry about this. Like, oh, my character died, the game's over. Like, no, one went down, make a new one. We still got this group over here. Let's go.
I like 3 to 5, but that's for like, say, Rifts or other role-playing games when the characters each have their kind of own story arc and they're not like a team. Right. So if it was more like a superhero team, I think I could err on the side of, 6 to 7 players max. But I don't know. I just really like telling those.
I mean, I know they're
stories.
more intimate, so to speak, for lack of a better word on that, but I like that kind of role play.
Tighter loop of storytelling for each character. I like to individualize.
Well, and I played with small groups too. In fact, when his daughter played, there's what, 4, 5, 4?
Yeah, there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
4 players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually tell people that we'll come back next week if they're less than 5. Like, just, I don't know. It's just the way my brain works on that. I'm not saying that any style is bad, like one-on-ones. I've seen people do one-on-ones. Heck, I did one-on-ones back in the day, and I understand that the role-playing can be better.
Al.
What's that?
I did one with Al, the Mage the Ascension.
Okay.
The first game I played was just him. It was me and him.
One of the things I had a game master, really great guy that we were doing the Fantasy Flight Star Wars. And what he did was, every once in a while, the rest of the, 2, 3 guys cancel or whatever. And, if we didn't have one guy, no big deal. You'd usually just press forward. But there was a few times when we did, there's only 1 or 2 of us there, and we did solo adventures that he did really well, because it was usually he would do a flashback.
Okay.
This is something really early for your character. He's like, I know we've talked about how this happened through role playing, but now when we're going to play through it, this is what actually happened.
Yes.
And we're going to use that moving forward. And that was a cool way to just approach the storytelling that I thought was a really great way to deal with it, and just keep everyone engaged. And then guess what? Next week, we're all back at the table. Everyone's excited to play, but they might hear about like, oh, but there was this thing that happened, and now we know more details about his backstory, or, it would just build into the narrative. And that was really great. So
Okay.
something to keep in mind if you want to do something a little more outside the box.
I'm going to start.
You mentioned one-on-ones. I was sitting there thinking I never really did that, but actually I did a few times, because when you have a big group of like 26 people, there are times where someone has a keen plan, and they're like, "Let me go and do this. Can we meet and for an hour or two and run me through?" And I did that a number of times, and it can be really effective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in the middle group. Like I don't look at role-playing games as story games as like the modern sense of the term. I believe in them as emergent storytelling, where it's like the dice dictate what happens, not the game master, and not the player's backstory or whatever. The dice dictate what happens. On the flip side of it, it's not just beer and pretzels for me. I like the role-playing aspect. I'm trying to recreate Lord of the Rings. I'm trying to recreate Dragonlance. I'm trying, that kind of, and all of those were 13? Yeah, 13 heroes in one, and another one. What was the companions for Dragonlance? 7, 8, 9, whatever.
But so a lot of times they weren't in the same scene at the same time all the time. They broke up into smaller groups.
Fellowship of the Ring, right? They split up.
You can do that, but it would have to be a juggling fiasco if you're going to do something like that every week, week after week after week. And I don't think anyone can keep that up for long.
Yeah, well, you get used to it. That's so when people say, "How can you run 26 people?" That's the secret. Is you have an entertaining game, and when this group of 2 guys goes here, and then you have this group of 6 guys there, and these 12 are doing that. You do. I mean, it is a little tricky, kind of. Have to jump around, but I kind of stole techniques from soap operas. My mom was suffering from cancer, and I would visit her, and we'd watch The Young and the Restless and a couple other shows, and I actually kind of got into them. And it's the classic, okay, you guys are doing this, and like, all right, well, we hear these voices. We kick open a door. What do we see? And I say, you see whatever the fuck it is. And they're like, oh! I'm like, hold that thought. What are you 6 guys doing? And it actually works,
what?
It actually works really good.
Cliffhangers are great
because those 2 guys are like, oh shit, we have to do this or this or this, and when you kind of rotate back to them, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna cast this spell. I'm pulling up my magic potion. I'm gonna drink that. I'm whipping out my longbow, and it works really, really well.
Okay. I trust you.
Hang on, no. When you said soap opera type thing, and they kick open the door, and they see 2 people inside. Oh my God, cliffhanger! No, what they saw was Carlos, the groundskeeper, with my sister.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's your long lost brother. Yeah.
I had amnesia.
Senor. Like all the trope, right? Like the whole thing, the whole trope from soap opera, like guiding light, like whatever.
Yep.
I'm gonna knock out 3 more questions here. I know I had a pile more, but ultimately, I think most of these can be answered either on forums or shoot me a Discord message,
or we have and just forgot we answered them.
It could be. But I have a couple starred here. So first of all, I'm just gonna go in order. So super chat. Can you ask why Kevin hasn't made world books for so many European and Indian countries? Could they create world books just taking place in those areas and change the names for sensitivities? Like there are still lots of there's still lots of areas. You got the former Yugoslavia, or like the Balkans, which has a rich history.
India would be awesome.
Itself has a rich history. Absolutely. I mean, there's a China book. This isn't a question. This isn't a gotcha question. I don't think it is. I'm not taking this one, but there are still lots of areas that can be looked at. And are there plans?
There's 90 plus world books, and
Yeah.
They're still
Yeah.
going, I think.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
you want
so
more?
yeah,
Yeah, they
I would
always
agree
want
with that
more, Sean.
completely.
They always want more. But we
Yeah.
got 90. Well, what happened in 91, Sean?
Right. Yeah.
What happened in 92, Sean? Come on.
I mean, there we go. Here's the
Wormwood.
super chat
Yeah.
that goes for that. Thank you, Patriot Assault. Any future for Wormwood? No matter how much we're trying to talk about TMNT here, the Rifts World books keep coming up. So yeah, and,
Well,
and by the way,
it-
thank you everybody for the super chats.
And that's kind of understandable because TMNT was
The gateway.
our first biggest hit. It was, I mean, we had hit games, you know, Heroes Unlimited, Palladium Fantasy. They were all hits. Even the little weapon books were, you know, big hits. But our first mega hit was Ninja Turtles. Our second mega hit was Robotech. And then Rifts outsold both of them combined. So I get it, and I'm proud of that, and I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad so many people love Rift so much and want to hear more.
Oh, I take a bunch of crap because I usually tell people I'm not the Rifts guy. I'm not a big fan of Rifts and so forth. Man,
Actually,
Yeah. I have something to say after you're done too.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, you know, we have plans for all kinds of things. I agree with you guys about India. I think the main reason we haven't done it is because I want to do it, and I haven't had time because I love the Indian myths and the gods. I mean, holy tamale. I mean, they're...
you could bring back, well, this isn't exactly that area, but just using that area, you could bring back ancient Sumeria. That would be just absolutely amazing.
You already have the pantheons of the megaverse that has Indian and stuff like that in it. You already have that, you know.
Right. I mean, and I would say people who have interest in those areas take those books, or you could even take, if say for like the Indian gods, maybe convert some over from some of the other pantheons. You know, you can look at what their powers are and stuff, and do your own thing there. I mean, that's, you know, it's not intended to slight anybody, of course, but it's just we haven't gotten there yet. But I think that I think Rifts, we could keep doing Rift stuff forever.
Yeah, in fact, we've been talking about.
I'd like to.
Rifts Italy. The Savage World people are delving into.
Well, it's not the Savage World people; it's our people.
Delving into the.
We
Italy and
So we've got. That's what I was going to say too. Is
go ahead.
So the next book for Savage Rifts is called Europa, and it's going to cover UK and NGR and Warlords of Russia, and I would say like the Mediterranean, so like the Phoenix Empire. But that we're going to have more overviews of things for like Scandinavia, a lot of stuff that was touched upon, but not. Well, it wasn't quite at the point where you could understand all the politics of everything that was going on there. But there's a lot of countries and groups, factions that were mentioned, and we're going to have an overview there, so you can see what's the Free Scandinavian Alliance, and also what's in Italy now, because we building off of something that's in the new South America book that's coming, The Land of a Thousand Islands for Savage Rifts. We have basically the expanded information, expanded backstory to the Megaversal Legion, so that it was originally called that because it was called from lost, disappeared Roman legions.
Okay.
And that's an old concept that they're building on.
So then we're going to be showing, well, what does that mean when all those guys got their freedom and left on an expedition to return to Rome? And so Europa is going to show some of that instead of, for instance, in NGR, the Triax and the NGR book, it talks about a Wolfen Empire there, that there's reports of a Wolfen Empire. Well, we can't have that. That's Palladium fantasy, right? Yeah. So, we're trying to put more detail in that region, and it's not a full rundown, but eventually those could be, big world books. So we're when we get the chance, a lot of times we're trying to introduce all these ideas that kind of build up over time, and whenever we can. So, Rifts, Buffalo, New York, not early on the slate.
Sorry, man.
The last question, and folks, even if you super chat, we do have to end this at some point here, and we're going to cover TMNT one more time here. But so the last one I'm going to put up is this one, because I think it's an interesting discussion question. Is solo rules are becoming popular. Is a Palladium solo source book for the megaverse a consideration?
Oh, not at this time.
Yes.
You're not saying we're never going to do it, but it's not something it's even on our radar, really.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
They're never going to do it.
Oh, wow.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean,
I know you
Now
would. That's why
Kevin's
I
going to
had
say challenge accepted, and it's going to be out next week.
Oh, that's why he's doing it. That's right.
oh, nice.
Very clever.
You could. I mean, look. I mean, but it would be. Those. That's a whole nother kind of system that you have to build on top of things. There's a lot of stuff we want to do first, but I mean, for instance, if you were going to do, but if you were going to do something like Recon, if you wanted to, when you're doing that from the ground up, you could make it so that it would be able to generate missions for solo play.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities.
Your whole platoon is wiped out. Go.
Right. Well, or you're running, a lot of the solo games, you might be running more than one character too. I mean, that's not,
that's true.
That's not
fair.
unheard of as well. So it's more about again, I haven't played a lot of them, but I have read up on them. It's a lot of it's just how you generate the narrative.
Yeah.
And so if you were already going to build some sort of system for that might be something to look at. I don't know.
I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of the solo RPGs, but anything that provides you, whether you like tabletop wargaming, tabletop role playing, computer role playing, solo role play, whatever, anything that just adds more to the collection that people or choices that people have to play games, I'm for it. It just wouldn't be for me. That's for dang sure.
Right. But for instance, what I mean is I don't know if you guys have played the game Dead of Winter. It's a tabletop board game where it's basically a town zombie survival in the middle of winter, and we played it and we had a lot of fun. But technically the game has a whole system for trials and different things that come up and different challenges that happen. You can play it single player or you can play it multiplayer, right? And so I think that's kind of the sweet spot is if you just make sure that, hey, if I generate a story engine, can it be played with why one player, then it's still fun. Okay, cool. But I don't know if we would ever be really diving super deep into single player stuff. Yeah. Otherwise,
I don't. Yeah. Again,
we don't know. I mean, we
don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah.
So maybe, but it's
not.
not.
I keep saying we're done with the questions, but this one sparred. These are things that Palladium can consider. Quick start rules. So this one may have come up before, but I'm sorry. Go.
No, I was just going to say I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're on a good roll.
Quick start rules.
Yeah, just so like a 5-page quick start rule with maybe a couple of sample characters in there that people can get their hands on to learn the basics of the system. Roll percentile dice for skills, for roll a d20 for combat, and
great idea.
Okay.
Well, we have about Wormwood. Yeah, we would love to do more with Wormwood.
Yeah. So let's see. We're helping out a guy who fell off roof, right? We have
Wayne
for Rifter 86. We have the shaman, and we have quick start rules, and we have solo play rules. So is anyone writing this down? We have to get this to them.
Add that to the email.
I'll add that to the email.
You're gonna give them a giant stack of stuff. Here's Rifter 86.
Well, when you talk about quick start, and that's one of the things that we really are trying to do a lot of things like that. For instance, that's why Titan Robotics has an introductory adventure with pre-generated characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly the same as a quick start because people know how to play.
Quick start rules usually don't involve the full rule set.
No, I understand. I've written. Yeah, I understand
the rules for that specific scenario that you're doing. That's what makes it easy to do, right? So,
but at the same time, it's a step towards making sure that people can try out a new gaming paradigm or a new setting within the Palladium megaverse.
Sure.
The next step after that, of course, would be to move towards
the full rule set.
A true quick start set. But we do think there's a lot of value in stuff like that, and that's part of our long-term game plan.
Yeah.
I was actually sad as an aside to that. I was actually sad that in the revised edition of Palladium Fantasy, you took out the mini adventure in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sad. I was like, oh, I love it when main books have a mini adventure, so you can run people on, so they can get used to the rule
You also
set.
can play test yourself.
Yeah, put play test yourself on like, okay, well that doesn't work. That's not going to work on my campaign going forward. So stuff like that. I was sad that it was gone. I was. I think I said so when I reviewed it.
You are not alone. A lot of people really loved that adventure too. So
one of the things I want. So here's the link. I'm going to put the link. It's already in the description, but I'm going to put the link in chat right now for the Kickstarter. You can follow it. I can't take full. I wish I could, but I can't take full credit for this. But since we started the live stream, it started at 2,570 followers. Now you're at 2,760. Was it? I can't remember. 65 followers. So
I'll take full credit for that.
yeah, he's not going to take full credit for that.
Hey, if someone doesn't want credit, you're just going to leave it on the ground? I'll take it. All right.
I'll take credits.
So you can. I put the link in the chat. It's in the description below. You can check it out there. It doesn't say much now, but that's because you're following. You're waiting for October 31st, which is the day. Again, I'll be at work.
That's literally the character limit, by the way, on Kickstarter for the preview page.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I literally 135 characters, I believe. Yeah.
Wow, that's worse than a tweet.
I'm
Yeah.
not kidding. Wow.
I was like, Kevin, I put everything I could in.
But let's look at this one more. Get off there. Let's look at this one more time. We got our art. And what are we going to get from this wonderful book? Well, we're going to get 2 books. And do you want to run down real quick? We talked about
You
Stitched.
get 6 books.
Well, 2 hardcover books that include. I was going to let Kevin and Sean jump in and with this full color Stitched. What else?
Behind the scenes remembrances, extra art splash pages by a lot of notable artists associated with Palladium and the Turtles, and then a lot of tributes and possibly, I think, introductions by, well, not possibly, there will be introductions, but we're still, we're hoping for certain people to be able to contribute on those levels. But a lot of luminaries and people that we're just surprised, just love the Turtles and the RPG are involved. Anything else you want to say about those books? Are they remastered? So that and relaid out and
fabulous color.
And fabulous color. I mean, we had to employ an archival book service to take the high res scans we had of the original pasteboards and turn it into text.
Oh, nice.
It's a lot of work, and that's.
I don't even want to know what that cost.
Yeah, it's not cheap. And then to get it done right, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of stuff that's books are hardcover only, correct?
And the color is so amazing that, I mean, just that alone makes it look like brand new, and everyone kind of, you can kind of imagine that, and you're like, yeah. But then when we actually show the art to people, they're like, holy moly, this is
really
fantastic.
Excited. Yeah.
So, I mean, it really is going to feel like a brand new book with everything we're doing, in addition to all the bonus material.
And the black, white, and red edition for the fans of the red masks and the original presentation, as well as the 2 miniature sets for the heroes and the villains, including a lot of Palladium specific or, early comic book specific characters in those miniature sets that I think people are going to be really excited about. And custom dice by Fanroll. And
so when we order or we do the backing, we're going to have the option to pick 1, 2, or 3 covers.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options.
Well, however many covers, but of the covers, we can. It's like I want that one and that one, or I want all 3 of them, or I just want this cover.
And that's one of the challenges, but basically it means that there's a lot of different basic pledge levels where you can choose which one you want, but then you can add a lot of things on. So you can basically mix and match or add to your order. The ones that are kind of require buying into is the foil covers. Those aren't just like add-ons because those are a lot more. We have to have really solid numbers for that, projections for the printing costs.
Well, I've got that fry meme going on. Take my money.
But there's a lot of levels, and it's mostly just a lot of it's just variations of which versions are you preferring to have. So that if you were like, I want both of the main books, and then I really want the Kevin Eastman cover, or I really want the Sophie, Campbell cover, or I just want to add this black, white, and red. That's totally an option. That's totally an
Well,
option.
Ironcaster here wants to put you on the spot, and I don't know why he's mean for doing this, but the just to get the 2 books, that's it. What are we looking at for? He says approximate price point.
But before you answer, most people that I talk to about this when they do their own Kickstarters, even when they're good friends of mine, say, I don't decide that until like right before the Kickstarter starts. Let's see if you give the same one.
I mean, he's just saying for the basic first of the 2 books.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what would you expect in, currently a 256 page hardcover full color book to be?
Well, nowadays that's probably going to be between $60 and $80. I would expect that.
Yep.
I would expect you to do it for cheaper, because I expect more from you because
Yep.
That's the way.
I don't know if I would pay $60 for a 200-page book, maybe a 350-page book, but I'm still kind of cheap when it comes to those. I start seeing $50 or more in a book. That thing better be better be huge.
That's why we're doing what we're doing and giving it the primo treatment. But we're aiming, and again, this isn't final, but because we are still going over some cost estimates and getting quotes from different printers that have only the most reliable reputation. But we are looking at $50 for the core books via the Kickstarter.
$50 each. Yep.
After the Kickstarter, the cover price is going to be higher. And so the thing I would say is I know some people are like, well, I'll wait and get it after the Kickstarter. This is going to be time to get in. And,
because unfortunately, a lot of this stuff won't be available after the Kickstarter, especially the miniatures and the variant book covers.
But also,
and I want to be very clear about that. That's not necessarily your decision on that. That's all
not
part of the whole.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Because I don't want anybody saying, well, they're being cheapskates. They're just, being dicks. No. This is all contractually.
This is all the numbers.
And again,
all the numbers behind the screen, we don't see. All the little tiny nickel and dime bullshit.
Well, and like you're saying, other people are charging $60 to $80. We want to offer $50 for the Kickstarter, and we have the same costs, or at least as anyone else producing books, right? So I mean, this is because we are
when you figure royalties. And
that's the other thing is there's a lot of royalties here, and again, not to go into certain things, but the get in the Kickstarter, that's when you're going to get the best deal. Yeah, and, we're not doing that because we're trying to play any games. We're doing that because that's literally how we got the deal to happen, was agreeing to a lot of this with Paramount. And so, 1 9mm round.
How much for the photocopied version? That's
just take food out of my daughter's mouth. Why don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Go ahead and publicize your crime.
Theft.
Go ahead,
right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, go ahead, do it. Yeah.
Yeah, probably too much. Have you seen how much it costs to print stuff at Kinko's?
I know.
Kinko's or whatever.
Ever since Kinko's left my area, it's been a hassle.
The funny thing is actually the when you actually look at what you're getting, like $50 is a good deal, So for 256 pages printed in full color and Smythe Stone bound with beautiful color hardcovers. Yeah. So I mean,
that was a bad deal.
Yeah, go do that at Kinko's or FedEx or whatever, and you're
I'll get a spiral notebook at Kinko's. I'm fine.
Right. If that's the way you want to roll, that's you, man. But no, we're doing this nice. So I mean, that's part of the whole point is to do the highest quality printing. So this is something you can have on your shelf for another 40 years.
With a lot of fun, bonus material.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, there's a lot on that list. We talked about some possible stretch goals earlier. If you didn't see that, you can go back and check on that. Anything left on the table that if you leave here, you can be like, dang it, we should have talked about that. Anything that I didn't bring up or that you guys want to hit on before we say goodbye?
No, we love joking around with you guys.
Oh yeah.
I think that's everything we really want
pretty
to
much
cover.
I mean, I just from a personal point of view, it's been wonderful talking with Kevin and
that's what we're saying.
All the Thank you.
I see what you did there.
You know, and a bunch of these other artists. I mean, you know, I didn't know anything about Sophie other than, you know, her work, and, you know, meeting with her and talking with her, has been a blast. You know, same thing with Freddie Williams. I mean, I obviously I knew all about Freddie Williams because I gave him his first job.
It was so funny. They're like, "Have you heard of this guy, Freddie Williams?"
Yeah, it was funny. Paramount was like, "Yeah, have you heard of this guy, Freddie Williams?"
We're like, "Yeah."
So, you know, it's just on a personal level, it's just been so rewarding to see how many people, how many industry people, how many big name people, you know, were touched by our work, you know, and loved Turtles and those source books so much. It's been, you know, really wonderful, you know, for me personally, and seeing Sean and even Jeff, you know, their reactions to talking to some of these other folks. And, you know, I don't like to think of myself as being jaded, but I guess I sort of am, because, you know, for me, it's like, oh, my old buddy Kevin. And these guys are like, you know, and it's just,
he's a cool guy.
He
was
been
great
wonderful.
to chat with.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So it's just really nice going back and revisiting all of this. It's almost like going to a really fun family reunion or you know, high school reunion. So yeah, it's so on that end, it's been really, really rewarding too, to be involved with all these. Like, come on, I haven't worked with Jim Lawson in you know, 30 years, and it's great to have him on board, and, you know, Kevin Pete and all these other guys, and you know, Paulo Okamura. The minute he saw the press release, he called me up and was like, "Gav told me I can do a piece for this book," and I'm like, "Yes, you can." And he's like, "Oh, thank goodness." But you know, it's been really great. So it's
awesome.
rewarding on a lot of levels for us, and we think, you know, the fans are going to love it, because we're doing the kind of books that you know, we as fans ourselves would want. So
yeah, absolutely. And personally, I just like to say I really appreciate the community, you know, welcoming me as part of the Palladium family now. It seems
There
like
was skepticism at first.
we got past the, like, people thought I was the Shane Hensley's sleeper agent.
Savage Worlds guy. Remember, that's what it
Yeah.
used to be, the Savage Worlds guy. Yep.
Yeah. But and I love those guys, and they're great people, and I love to continue working with them. But, you know, that's not who I am. You know, that was my first opportunity to work on riffs, basically. And work with some really great people and have a lot of great experiences. But, you know, now running the show on the Titan Robotics Kickstarter and doing the Cyberworks collection and remastering the PDFs. And it's just, I also want to say I appreciate everybody, you know, giving me a chance and giving us a chance for this new generation of Palladium products, and backing the Kickstarter, being so happy with everything they received. I mean, we've just been hearing glowing positive things. So we just appreciate everybody putting their faith and trust in us. And we're looking forward to, you know, wowing you more as we move forward. And the Turtles, this reissue is a taste of, you know, the really kind of exciting stuff that we want to do in the future. And we're building up a lot of things that's, you know, we want to work with the most reliable partners in the business. We want to have again, maintain the Palladium's top-notch writing and storytelling and worlds, and build that with all these other things that people have come to love. And whether it's, you know, just like fun stuff like poker card decks and game master screens and dice and miniatures, right? To even, you know, bigger and grander things. We're just super ecstatic about this opportunity. And so appreciate everybody who backs the project and puts the word out there. And thanks so much, because we know this is going to be really big. I mean, we've already got a lot of people following it, and, you know, our campaign, our marketing campaign hasn't even really started. So
It's awesome.
And has a short runway because of
and thanks for having us on your show.
Well,
yeah, and thank you guys
for putting up with us.
Yeah.
No, that's great. What
great
I need you
time.
to do is to next time you talk to Wayne, tell him that sadly the internet has a new name. He's Wayne the Defenestrated. That's what he is now. So, you know, let him know. Let him know. He can get a cape and cowl if he wants. He's got a superhero name.
Oh, that's good.
Well, you know, piggybacking on what Sean was saying, I think, you know, a lot of us want, you know, Kevin to be Futurama with his head in a jar so that, you know, this never ends at some point. But
I
no,
wouldn't. I would not curse that on my worst enemy. Oh
look,
my
man,
God.
I know what you mean.
the product is more important than the person. I don't care. but no, I think Palladium is in good hands, and I'm not going to say that the first time we talked. Well, the first time we talked, I think I felt that way. But before the first time we talked, I don't know if I was convinced about that. When Kevin was like, "Next time I come on, you have to have Sean on for this." Like, okay, well, fine, I'll do it. You know, but no, I'm absolutely glad. No, I'm 100% glad we did. I love having you both on. I love the rapport. Like, I don't have to sit here and try to probe you for questions because I can sit back as you guys will talk, tell the stories, do whatever. It's a great time. I enjoy it. I would like you guys to stick around for a couple minutes after the fact, like normal, just for a couple minutes. But thank you.
Can I say one last thing?
Absolutely.
Oh, sure. You know, we're really excited about Turtles, and just again, for a small company like this gives us your faith, your backing, you're helping us. You know, that also gives us more, you know, resources we can use to free up Kevin to write, as I like to say, the books that only Kevin can write. You know, there's a lot of stuff that Kevin's been working on and has been brewing on, and I really want to see that come out too, right? And I would never, you know, want to put your head in a jar, but thank you. I know that is not your wishes.
Maybe a robot body, but
yeah, we'll see where technology goes.
Robot Nixon.
But yeah, no, we want to make sure that we want to empower Kevin. That's my whole point of being here, is to empower Kevin, but also to carry on his legacy in the future. So again, thanks for everybody's support.
Oh, I meant to ask. So this was actually on my list to ask too, but I skipped it. How do you pronounce it? Was it Marcinison, right?
yes, very
Yes.
good.
Yep.
Our citizen. I was just gonna say Mixelpidalic and be done with it. Like,
Wow. All right. Well, chat out there, I don't have a surprise for you today, but I will have a surprise for you maybe next week or maybe on my Discord. It depends. It might be for members only, but there'll be a surprise based on this. I'll talk to Kevin and Sean about that after we're done here. But I want to thank every single one of you folks for being here. Really do appreciate it. Can't thank Kevin and Sean enough. I absolutely love talking with those guys. I didn't want to beat them up with just kind of some of what we'd call the mundane questions today, because this was really about TMNT. But I know, everybody loves riffs.
Me too.
I am going to be ecstatic in a few months here when I get my TMNT books and I start talking about that some more. But no, that's what's great about Beyond the Supernatural, Nightbane, System Failure, Splicers, riffs. Like there's stuff for everybody, and that's what's great about this. Unfortunately, and yes, I said unfortunately, there's only 2 of them. So the fact that they can come on here and they can get something like TMNT done, that is great. And welcome you guys back whenever you want to come back. And thank you guys for that. So, and thank you all out there. Heath Nog, any words of wisdom before I hit the theme song out, or are you ready for me to go?
we just experienced all the wisdom we need. Hit it.
Okay. Then let me get the thank you screen up because I can't find it. And there's the thank you screen. All right, everybody, you all have a wonderful week. And I hope to see you guys on a Friday night.